your cousin suffers from cerebral palsy. Is that what prompted you to write about this film?
Yes, definitely she was the initial inspiration. So Malini is just a year younger than me, and we are in a kind of joint family in India. So we grew up together, did everything together. So let me just say what cerebral palsy is. Basically, it's that part of the brain that affects your muscle skills and motor coordination. So nothing to do with your emotional or mental development. So she was very bright, everything's fine, it's just physically. So that way we were extremely close, had the same taste, did everything together. When we were teenagers, I remember thinking that Malini was way more romantic than me and would want to date. And so I didn't date anybody in high school because I felt her heart would get broken because people would not be able to see past her body, which is a fact. She's gorgeous, and but being in a wheelchair like that's definitely stops people, and her speech is garbled. So so I didn't. But we would do things like we'd go dancing. So I would take her in Bombay to a disco and take her off her wheelchair, and then she would have crutches. And I remember once it was the Holiday Inn in Juhu, and the manager came and said that she can't dance here with crutches. And I had such a huge fight. I was only 16, and I was like, no, she will dance. And I won the fight, and I had her dance there because I just felt it so unfair. And so we danced, we went out drinking. And this is the funny thing that, so she has to have a plastic sippy cup, like a children's cup, so that she can hold it. And so I would tell the waiter that, isme whiskey soda or mere ko nimbu pani. And he would just look at me shocked, because you just infantilize the disabled. You don't think that the disabled can drink alcohol and certainly not have sex. And so to give a whiskey soda in a plastic cup with a straw, he was, and she'd outdrink me every time. So it's kind of one of those. So many years passed. She was studying in London, I was studying in America and working in America. And I was 40, she was 39, and we met in London, and we were in a pub because she likes to always drink. And I said, Malini, what do you want for your 40th birthday? It's the best birthday ever. That's before I turned 50, which is now the best. But
Good
that
for
time,
you.
40, okay?
Yeah.
She said, and her speech is very garbled, Reshma, but sometimes it just comes out crystal clear if she's angry or upset about something. This was one of those times the whole London pub heard it. She said, I just want to have sex. And I was just shocked, and I said something facetious like, oh, it's not as good as it's made out to be, and we'll get you a vibrator. And later I thought about it, that I thought about this when I was a teenager, about my sister's sexuality, about my sister's need to find love and to date. And then I put it away because I couldn't deal with it, probably. Like, I just kept it away, and this is something, a deep yearning that she still has and she's unable to have. And that means that everybody who's disabled probably faces that. So that was the inspiration, that and I decided to do it as a teenager, because I remember our time as teenagers, and you have the exact same, you're a horny teenager, you have the same romantic yearnings as an able-bodied person. And so I felt that I want to do it as a coming-of-age film, a young teenager who wants to find love.
You have also written this. I read about the fact, of course, you had a tragedy in your life. You lost your son at a very young age, and you started writing a few months after he had passed away. How were the two linked, in your opinion?
Yes, very linked. And I wanted to thank you for asking that question. It's a very precious question for me. So that summer, so this is summer 2010. The first half of the year, I was co-producing my husband's film, Bedo Broto Pine's film, Chittagong. So we were away on shoot on Chittagong, and just a funny thing happened on that there was a scene. The lead of Chittagong is a 16-year-old boy, so the exact same as Ishan. Ishan was 16, and that child, not his friend, gets killed by the British police. And we needed the mother of the child to run to the dead body, and we couldn't find an actor at that time to just play that small role. And any extra we got, they were just not being able to do it. And I've always been an actor before becoming a director, and Bedo said, why don't you do it? I said, sure. And I remember when I was dressing for that role, because this is a period British film, you've seen it, I was sitting in the makeup room, and I was like, oh my God, if Ishan died, I would just not be able to handle it. And I was just going to pieces. I was like, I better not think about that, because I'll not be able to act. I'm going to pieces so much just thinking that if Ishan would die, I can't do it. So I was like, okay, I'll be able to cry. I'll do some acting technique. I'm not going to think about Ishan dying. So this is February 2010. And I did that part. But the fact is that I sat there and actually said the sentence, if Ishan were to die, me as a mother What would I do? Because I was acting this role of a 16-year-old boy being killed. So now in the summer, we had finished Chittagong, Me Too was in post, Bedo was in post, and I was thinking about my next film. And Malini had told me this, and I was thinking, writing out this in my head. And I had a chat with Ishan for lunch, I remember. I used to take him out for lunch because his younger brother's 4 years younger, so he was 12. So I like to have alone mother and son time. So every Saturday he and I went out for lunch. And I said, Ishan, the working title of this film is called I Have Me. And what it is it's the growth of a person who seeks external affirmation and always wants the love and affirmation of society and their peers and their mother and their boyfriends, and doesn't give themselves love and acceptance. And the whole thing human beings need to learn is, do you love and accept yourself? And that is the journey this character goes through. And I said, it's because I myself feel I've gone through that journey, and now I have me. At this late age, in my mid-40s, I finally have me. And do you know what that means? And he just looked into my eyes and said, Mama, I totally get what you mean. Like, I have me too. And I was so proud as a mother that he was so in his own skin as a person, and he had himself. And just a month after that, he died in a very horrific, tragic accident in LA. And so, of course, the film went out of my head. Everything went away. That was September 2010. Then 4 months later, January 20th, he'd have turned 17. And as I was approaching that day, Reshma, and you'll know because you're a mother too, and it's unbearable to think of your child's birthday and they're not there on earth. And I was like, I'll just not be able to face the day. I just cannot face the day. But the day came. And from the morning, I was just happy and vibrant. I was like, this is the day my firstborn came on this earth, and such an amazing child, Ishan. And it's just a beautiful gift. And I celebrated the whole day long. Like, matlab sach se, matlab sacha dil se, not ki like zabardasti ki keep yourself cheerful and happy, like genuine, authentic joy. And it came from him, because it was not possible to come from me. He just gave me that.
If I may add to that, I actually remember this pretty vividly. And we're Facebook friends, and you said you were going to wear a red sari and a red tikka, and you were going to celebrate all day. And my heart went out to you. I couldn't imagine what it took for a mother to do that.
And I did it with my younger son, Vivan, and we had a beautiful day. We ate in all Ishan's favorite places. And then that night, after Vivan went to sleep, I just picked up a pen and I just started writing. And for 30 days, I wrote straight. And at the end, I finished. And so love, loss, and death came into the film, which didn't exist earlier.
So what would you say was the most challenging part of making this film?
So what I thought would be the most challenging ended up not being. So what I thought was like, oh my God, how am I going to have somebody now authentically have cerebral palsy and act out this role? So first I looked completely all over the country to find somebody who can act, who has CP. Not just because I was nervous to take an actor. Actually, the genuine reason was I felt, agar koi disabled ho, nobody will give them an opportunity to be a lead role. Let me find that person. Even if they don't know they're an actor, let me look for somebody who has the talent to act, who has cerebral palsy, because who else to give them a chance than a film being made on? I couldn't find such a person, and I looked really hard. I know all the people in all the institutions, couldn't find. So then our first choice was Kalki. The reason being, my casting director, Nilesh Maniyar, he showed me a picture of hers with her smile, and he was like, is that your Laila's smile? I was like, yes, that is Laila's smile. I was like, but we're going to have to audition her. And if she doesn't agree to audition, then I can't. Like, she's done wonderful films. She'd already done 3 films. She was well known. I sent her the script. She read it without a break and immediately called me and said, I love it, but I'm terrified, Shonali. I said, even I'm terrified. But Kalki, if you can commit to giving me 6 months of your life where you don't do anything, you can't even shoot a commercial, nothing. And we'll just work, and I'll figure out, and we'll do workshops, and you'll work, and we have this kind of intense training. And at the end of the 6 months, if it's not authentic, we'll abandon the film. And she said yes. And so that was the agreement.
That's quite a gutsy lady.
Really gutsy. Wait, it doesn't end there. So that happened. 3 weeks passed. She met my sister Malini. She became friends. She was doing her own research, by herself, bought books, and was doing all kinds of research, ended up knowing more about cerebral palsy than me. Then the killer happened, which is that Ye Jawani Hai Diwani, a film with Ranbir Kapoor and Deepika, kept getting pushed. It had started in January, and she had told me it was going to finish. And she was stuck. And so I said, I'm so sorry, darling. I'm heartbroken, but I have to take the role back. I can't. And we had not looked at any other, so we were confident we'd easily find somebody. She was our first choice, but we were like, but we were heartbroken. Nilesh and I were, Kalki was, it was very sad. It was this meeting again in Holiday Inn, and we were, which is now called Novotel. We were very sad. Then Nilesh auditioned 100 actors. I'm not exaggerating, 100. Only 2 girls from that 100 I felt showed the potential. She did. She did do an audition. Kalki did an audition for me, and I loved her audition. These 2 girls also did an audition. They were very good. I said, I can work with them. I gave the same speech about the 6 months. They said, not even a commercial? Like, we can do a commercial, right? I said, no. Because the thing is that it needs intense concentration. You can't just go and do anything else. You have to just live in the body of this person and just be this person. And they said, no, we can't. One of them said that, and the other was like, well, there are these lovemaking scenes, and when, like, can you change those? And I was like, no, this is the script. So I went back to Kalki. I said, I'll wait for you. You finished your Ye Jawani Hai Diwani. Because the director said, can't you shoot simultaneous or prepare? I said, no, she has to finish that. And then so I waited for her, just waited 3 months for her. Then we worked, and then we did this.
So what would you like the audiences to take away from this film? And for our audiences, it's about to release May 20th again in Los Angeles. Tell us about that.
For me, I feel that anybody who watches this film, if they learn that they need to love and accept themselves. I feel especially as young women, there's such a pressure on everybody to constantly be something else at no matter what age, all genders actually. And there's a pressure from society to be somebody else and not be your authentic self, not find your own authentic happiness and peace. So for me, I would want, if you learn from my film, to just nurture and love and accept yourself, whoever you are, whatever your path is, that's for me the gift. And the film releases at the Arena Theatre in Los Angeles. It's a theatre in Hollywood. I'll be there the opening weekend and many days the first week to do a Q&A. So I really would love that you would come out and see the film in theatres, because the experience you get, like we're filmmakers, like the experience you get sitting in a theatre, seeing it on a big screen is just not comparable to seeing it on DVD or Netflix, which it will, of course, come out on all those platforms, a couple months after the release.